If you're a person that's been called to big dreams, big goals, big vision, like God actually has laid it out in front of you and you know that you're supposed to be pursuing it, one of the things that can delay it from happening or even prevent it from happening entirely is self-doubt. And so I want to talk about that in this video. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Tracy Timberlake. In case we haven't met, I'm a business coach and I help people lean more into their faith and eliminate some of that fear so that we can pursue the things that God has called us to do in this world. Now I'm excited to dive into this topic because I have worked with hundreds of people. I have spoken to thousands, and this is one of those phenomenons that most of us cannot escape, meaning don't feel bad if you've experienced self-doubt. We all have, myself included. I want to come at this conversation from a slightly different angle. I'm not going to give you here are the 4 ways that you can eliminate self-doubt. I actually want to get to the root of the problem. I want to break it down a little bit and show you how self-doubt is actually rooted from a spiritual place, because your purpose and your identity have to align. You have to be aligned with that purpose in order to truly pursue the things that you want to pursue in this world. Self-doubt actually comes in, cuts you off at the knees, and then your identity doesn't match up with the purpose that you're supposed to meet. So here it is, simply laid out plain. If your thoughts about you do not align with God's thoughts about you, it's going to be very, very difficult, almost impossible to fulfill your purpose on this planet. When God calls you to whatever it is He's calling you to, right? When He gives you the vision, when He gives you the desire of your heart, He already knows that you have everything that you need to fulfill it. Let me prove that to you from Scripture. So we have 2 Peter 1:13 that says we've been given everything that we need for life and godliness. Then we have Ephesians 1:3 that says you've been given every spiritual blessing, meaning that anything that you need to accomplish your purpose on this planet, you have actually been given it. Now, it doesn't mean that you're exercising it in this season, but you definitely have access to it. Are there areas where you need to grow? Do you need to learn new things? Do you need to meet more people? Do you need to elevate yourself and have some sort of personal development situation? Absolutely, all of those things are in play. Having said that, God sees you as capable already. He sees that the timeline. He sees that you actually have the capacity to do all the things that need to be done so that you can get to the end destination. I think we can agree to that, yes? Excuse me, because I am still getting over this cold, and so you're gonna hear my voice crack probably 19 times inside of this video, so excuse that. Doesn't change the message. Okay, so we've established God sees you as fully capable. The issue is that you don't see yourself as fully capable. You don't see yourself matching up to the level of the task. So that's when you start to have imposter syndrome. You start to do things that self-sabotage your way out of achieving the success that you actually say that you want. There are all of these things that come into your mind, and you start to believe these limiting beliefs as if they were true. I wanted to lay all of that out first because I wanted you to understand that self-doubt really is rooted in an identity conversation. Who do you believe that you are? See, because God says a lot of things about you, but you oftentimes, myself included, we have a lot of contradictory things to say. We'll tell ourselves, oh, I can't, I've never done it before, I tried once and I failed, therefore I'm a failure, no one likes me, no one's gonna buy it. We have all of these things that we start to believe about ourselves that aren't actually true. So I wanna give you what God says about you because I think it's important for you to know what that is. So here it is. I made a list. I'm gonna read them, but in case you want them printed out somewhere, I have a link down below that you can download them. It's totally free. It's really just a list of Bible verses. You're welcome to go find the Bible verses yourself, but sometimes it's just easier when everything is all in one place. So if you want all of these verses, sort of these identity statements that you can adopt for yourself, click the link down below. You can download it, but I'm going to read some of them. I'm not going to read all of them. There's a 31-day situation that you can download. It's free. Let me read what God actually says about you. So you're created in God's image. You're chosen. You are loved. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You're redeemed. You're forgiven. You're a child of God. You're accepted. You're free. You're an heir to God's promises. You are strong. You are courageous. You're God's masterpiece. You are made new. You're the light of the world. You're the salt of the earth. You're more than a conqueror. You're seated in the heavenly places. You are chosen. You're anointed. You are the temple of God. You're part of a body. You're not on your own, is what I mean there. You're protected and guarded. You're an overcomer. You are blessed with every spiritual blessing. You are God's workmanship. You're victorious. You're called holy. You are royalty. You are under grace. You are complete. You are treasured over all creation. And this is why the conversation of identity is so important, because God can say all of these things about you. But if you don't believe them, if you don't say those same things about you, it's going to determine what actions you take. It's going to determine the kinds of relationships that you pursue, the boundaries that you have around your time, around your space, around your mindset. It's going to determine the kind of job, the kind of career that you end up pursuing. It's so important to recognize who God says that you are, because when God says that you are these things, He is calling you those things so that you can do the thing that He has actually called you to do. God has this long laundry list of things that He calls us, but if we don't adopt those at the level of identity, it's not going to matter anyway, because as a man thinketh, so is he or she. We don't experience life at the level of our desires. We experience life at the level of our thoughts. So thoughts are a byproduct of beliefs. I'm going to put a little graphic up here just so that you can see it. So in this circle, you see beliefs become thoughts, thoughts become feelings, feelings become actions, and then actions become your experiences, and then it's just this cyclical thing. The entire wheel ends up reinforcing your belief system. What's interesting about this circle is the only thing you can truly change is your belief system to change the rest of the wheel. Let me give you an example. You can try to change your thoughts, but usually the thoughts that we have on the conscious level, it's not enough to truly change the subconscious thoughts, because oftentimes those subconscious thoughts are hidden. I don't know if you guys have seen this graphic. I use it all the time when I talk about mindset, but what we're saying, what we're thinking right now, we're operating in our conscious mind. But all of our beliefs create thoughts that actually exist in the subconscious. And most of the time we are unaware of what those subconscious thoughts are, but they come out in the feelings that we have about things. And then those feelings dictate what kind of actions we take. So let me give you an example that's a little bit clearer. I can say over and over again, I can think in my mind, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, right? But my subconscious mind is like, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not. So when I begin to feel into my body, and feeling creates frequency, and we can talk about that another time, but the feelings in my body is like, you're lying to yourself because you know you have $72 in your bank account. You are not, in fact, a millionaire. So even though I'm trying to change my thoughts, on the conscious level, the subconscious thoughts are actually more powerful than like my conscious ones, and they're going to create the feeling. So now I'm guilty, now I feel like a liar, now I feel bad because I can't even tell myself the truth. And then from those feelings, I'm now going to take action. Even if I tell myself, right, I think to myself, I'm a millionaire, the actions that I'm taking are probably not going to be in favor of me being a millionaire. Meaning, if there's an investment that I need to make, for example, this happens to so many people. They affirm to themselves, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. But then when they're called to make an investment in themselves, they're not going to do it because they're going to act out of fear. Well, a millionaire, multi-millionaire, whatever, they're not going to act according to the scarcity. They're going to live their lives according to being a millionaire. But most of us, if that is not our identity, we're not living our lives like millionaires. So you can't just tell yourself a thought that, oh, I'm a millionaire, and then think that all of a sudden you're going to change the actions that you take as if you were in fact a millionaire, because you're not. You're actually going to operate according to the scarce beliefs that live in the subconscious mind, right? So you can try to change your thought, but it doesn't happen, because the subconscious is actually what's running the show. I know that's probably very complicated. Ask any questions that you have down below, because I can definitely explain that a little bit more. So then when you take those actions that are usually fear-based, right? Oh no, I can't invest in that. I can't take that class. I can't change my job. I can't start my business. I can't write my book. I can't. And we have so many reasons, so many excuses, so many distractions, so many things that are leading us to not actually pursuing the thing that we're supposed to be pursuing, because we're taking actions based on the fear of the subconscious mind, not on the thought of I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, because that's nonsense when you know in your mind that that's not true. So then the fear-based action that you're taking of not pursuing the thing, not doing, not writing, not showing up, that's going to lead to an experience where nothing is happening. And then when nothing happens, it reinforces the belief that you are not in fact a millionaire. It's not happening. You're not going to get there. You're not getting to where you're supposed to go. And then the cycle perpetuates. So the best way to cut this off at the legs is to change your belief system, which is why I want you to download the sheet, because the sheet actually gives you all of these identity statements that you can apply. I recommend doing one a day, just one a day, meditating on it, sitting with it. How does it feel that I am loved? How does it feel that I am worthy? How does it feel that I'm free? How does it feel that I'm a conqueror? Journal through it, pray about it, allow for it to integrate into your subconscious mind so that you can begin to adopt that at the level of identity. The next thing I want to say about this is that God is not really in the business of like slowly trying to progress you along. I think most of us are trying this personal development journey, and while I do think that you need to have patience with yourself, and change happens over time, God can actually change a person in an instant. As a matter of fact, God has done it multiple times, and we read those stories in the Bible. Like when God wants somebody to change, he actually just changes their entire name. He's like, you are called somebody new now. He did it with Abram and into Abraham. He did it with Jacob into Israel. He did it with Saul into Paul, because he's like, we are adopting a whole new identity. Who you were in the past is no longer who you are moving forward. So we're just going to change it just like that. There is the possibility of experiencing a miracle of transformation. We know that that's available to us. God operates like that, and we see it, like I said, all the time. We are the ones that are adhering to a timeline. So it's not bad necessarily. I just want you to recognize that it doesn't have to take as long as you think it will take in order for you to adopt a different mind. Oftentimes, we're just fighting with ourselves every step of the way. I want to add another layer or another piece of this conversation about identity and about self-doubt. And just about self-esteem in general. I think understanding it actually helps us to overcome it. When it comes to looking at the world and the things that you want, oftentimes the self-doubt comes from comparison. Like we begin to compare ourselves to other people. And we hear it all the time. Don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself. But I want to say this, comparison by itself is not bad. Let me tell you a story. I flew to Atlanta because I needed to get my hot water heater in my Atlanta condo fixed, changed, replaced, whatever. So when the hot water heater man came here and we were assessing what needed to be done, we're taking a look at all the different kinds of water heaters that exist and what sizes they are, length, height, width, capacity, all that stuff. I'm looking at them, comparing. Do I like this one? Do I like that one? Do I want it to be taller? Do I want it to be bigger? What about shorter? Do I want it electric? Do I want it tankless? Like there's so many different versions. I have no attachment to my water heater, right? Like I just needed it fixed. I don't have a desire one way or another other than it working, right? There's no part of my identity that was attached to the water heater is what I'm saying. So I'm like, this is good. This is a good one. Let's go with that. So even in the comparing and the contrasting of the different water heaters, I had no attachment to either or. I have no identity attached to them. So I just chose one that I felt was the most cost effective and was going to get here faster than the rest. Comparing and contrasting is not actually bad. Sometimes comparing and contrasting can give you the information that you need so that you can make a decision. We compare things all the time. I drive an SUV, somebody else might drive a car. I wear sneakers, somebody else might have heels. I have black hair, somebody else has blonde hair. Those are just facts. Those are comparing the facts of what actually exists. Neither is right, neither is wrong. We can all be neutral about it. The problem is that most of the time when we're comparing ourselves to others, we are not in fact neutral. Comparing yourself to other people or other things only becomes dangerous when the thing that you're comparing yourself to, you esteem as higher than yourself. Does this make sense? Most of the time, we're not approaching it from a place of neutrality. We're comparing ourselves with people, places, or things that we feel we are lacking, and we feel like those things are better than we are. If I had those things, I would be better. Why did they get a chance to experience it and I don't? When you're looking at the abundance that exists for someone else out there, and you're approaching that from a place of lack, that lack actually opens the door for doubt to come in and to begin to speak to you. That doubt is now a seed that gets to be planted, but you get to decide whether it's being planted on fertile ground. Are you going to water it and continue to feed the seed with fertilizer? Are you going to expose yourself continually to all the people that have all the things that you don't want? Are you going to journal about it, cry about it, scream about it, yell at God that you don't have all of these things? Or does that particular seed just get planted in rocks because you actually have an identity that is rooted in truth and you believe what God says about you? You believe when God calls you to great things that you have everything that you need to accomplish those great things because you know who you are according to Him. Lastly, I want to say perception and perspective change everything, right? You are not your failures. You are not your mistakes. You're not lacking in anything. It's just the perception that you are. But if you adopt an identity that actually says that you have all of these things in the heavenly places, you've been given everything that you need, a lot can change just by switching your mindset into believing the things that are actually true about you and not the lies that you have allowed yourself to believe in the past. So anyway, hopefully that opens up your mind to have conversations with yourself around your identity and around believing that you can actually achieve the things that God has called you to do. You just have to believe that it's possible, and believing that it's possible means that you have to adopt an identity that's actually in alignment with the possibility of it. If you have any questions, let me know. I will see you in the next video.